Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song. We are on day 5 of our Freedom Week. It has been so lovely to see everyone in this room over and over again singing about freedom. So happy to see all of you. Hi to everybody out there on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us in the Daily Antidote today. And hi to everybody in this room. Hi, of course, to Katie Abadou in College Park, Maryland, our tech today. Thank you, Katie. And to Kim Harris coming in from LA, who's going to be our song leader today. I'm so glad she's with us. To Anna Alter, our DAS assistant, also in the room and helping out with a lot of things this week. And hi to everybody else who's here. Hello, Deli in Maryland. Great to see you. Becky in British Columbia. Hello to Arlene in California. Behind it, not seeing you, Arlene, but happy that you are here. Hello to Al. Nice to have you today. Coming in on your guitar, even though we can't see it. Hello, Annette. Nice to see you. And hi, Sandy in the Yukon. And let's see, it's Annette is in California, also like our song leader. And Sandy, hello. Nice to see you today, coming in from the Yukon. Susan, great to have you today, coming in from Massachusetts. Cricket in Maryland. Susan in Ohio, hello. Deborah in Kentucky, hello. Sheila in Florida, hello. Hi to Sarah in Texas. Hi to Shari in New Hampshire. Hello to Hoda, who is maybe in British Columbia at the moment and maybe not. Hello to Dane, nice to see you today. And to Kate in Charlottesville, nice to have you. Carolyn in Idaho, hello. Hello to Phil in what? Okay, I don't even want to know if that's true. Is Phil really in Japan or is he just kidding? Phil is like the moving guy, right? Like, is everybody else sitting in their same old living room? Because that's mostly what I've been doing. Hello to Phil, possibly in Japan and possibly just teasing us. Hi to Cliff in Vermont, nice to see you today. Cliff, not in Japan. Hello to Dan in Vermont, not in Japan. And Johnny, good to see you today. Hi, Ann in Knoxville, glad you're here. And let's see who else is here. Screen 2, Ellen, hello, nice to have you today, glad you're here. And Gary in Mass, and Ruth in Birmingham, England, right where she's supposed to be and not in Japan. Hello to Kathleen in Albuquerque, Bonnie in Idaho, Luda, and Luda, is that Mark next to you? Yes, hello Mark, nice to see you. And hello Double Heart family. Hello to James Harkless, who is going to be song leading with us tomorrow. Glad you're here, Jim. Hello to Steve and Michelle in Maryland. Amanda and Miles in Michigan. That's a hello and a hello. Caroline in DC. Now it's a turkey doll. Caroline, you are the most seasonally adept turkey doll holder in the world. Hello to Jane. Nice to see you today, coming in from Texas. Nancy's Irish Cow, Washington State. Harriet in Chicago. Jim in New York City, sitting just in time to get helloed. Hi, Sandy. Nice to have you with us today. And Tom, glad you're back again today, coming in from Nashville. Hello, Fred in Silver Spring. Storm in Massachusetts, holding and also seasonal. Storm, you also get the seasonally adept holder of things prize. That's a pumpkin, and it maybe looks like a pumpkin with a turkey butt, but I can't quite see. Hello to Susan in Tacoma Park, Christiana and Bob in Maryland, Carol in Connecticut. Hi, Penny and Ralph. Glad you guys are here, coming in from Victoria. Dick and Kathy, or at least the Dick half. Nice to see you today. Glad you're here, joining us from Victoria, one of our regular song leaders. Hello, Matt. I don't know if I know you yet, but I'm so glad you're here. And Harriet, hello. Nice to see you, coming in from Chicago. Hi, Mommy in New Jersey. Nice to have you. And let's see who else is off video today. Kat in Vermont, Isabel in Florida, hello, nice to see you. Janine in Norfolk, and Loriana and Kachina and Courtney. Actually, today I believe it is, let's see, Courtney on a Friday. And Kachina, hello to both of you. I'm so glad you guys are here. Everybody, let's take a deep breath. Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad to see you all. There's nothing quite as lovely as having a whole week of freedom songs, except possibly next week's whole week of friendship songs, or possibly the next week's whole week of gratitude songs, because it's just ridiculously lovely to be able to sing on all of these amazing topics with all of you day after day as we approach our 600th day, which I think is coming up next week, actually, or maybe the week after. I do want to put out one calendar change before we get started. We are not going to be having our Kathy B special fundraiser program on the Ruby Bridges Walked into School anniversary, which was, I think, going to be Sunday the 14th. We're going to be changing that and having it at a later date because of circumstances beyond our control. And an email will be going out explaining everything. And if you are not on our email list, Katie will be putting into the chat the address for getting it, the web address for getting into the list. And we welcome all of you to join. All right, I am going to turn it over immediately to Dr. Kim Harris, coming in from California, I believe Los Angeles. And she's been with us a bunch of times in the room, so doesn't really need a whole lot of introduction. And boy, if you're looking for freedom songs, you've come to the right place. Kim, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I am so glad to be here too this morning. So, all right. Yeah, I love that you take a stretch. Make sure that you move your neck gently. I always say to my students, I'm a professor at Loyola Marymount University, and I say, sometimes you get Zoom neck. So you need to move shoulders and necks. And they laugh at me at the beginning of the semester, and then by now they're doing over my head. I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Oh, over my head, I see justice. I see justice in the air. Over my head, I see justice in the air. Over my head, I see justice in the air. There must be a God somewhere. I see freedom. Do it again. Add all the harmonies you can. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Oh, there must be a God somewhere. Up over my head, I see freedom in the air. Up over my head, I see freedom in the air. Up over my head, I see freedom in the air. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. To do that last little bit again, I really do believe, yes, I really do believe, yeah, like this. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. Do that again. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. Up over my head, I see justice in the air. Up over my head, I see justice in the air. Up over my head, I see justice in the air. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. I really do believe. Oh, I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. Oh, I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. Since the arrest of the original 736, many of them young people, in December of 1961 in Albany, Georgia. Now, I never quite say it correctly. You know, I'm from up north, so I want to say Albany, Georgia, but it's more like Albany, Georgia. They were arrested because of the freedom rides that were happening. Now, you see, the freedom rides had already been going on in other places in the United States. And the people in Albany, including Bernice Johnson, who of course we know later on as Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagan, she and her friends said, the freedom rides are going to come here. We know they're going to come here. The train station and the bus station, they were segregated. And, you know, they said, they're going to come here. When they come, we're going to join. Well, they waited and they waited and they waited. And, you know, eventually they said, you know, if the freedom rides are going to come here, we're going to be the ones that are going to have to do it. And that's the song, you know, the old song, the spiritual. Over my head, I see trouble in the air. Some of you have heard that. Bernice Johnson, one of the great song leaders in Albany, made this her song and substituted freedom for trouble. And she was expelled from Albany State College for her participation in the movement. She went on to Spelman College, and she also was part of the SNCC Freedom Singers, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, those freedom singers. But she tells a story of being in her father's church in Albany after she had helped to lead a march down to the bus station, circling on around and coming back. And eventually there were some people in town that you know, some of the black people who had been peeking out from behind the blinds. And as they saw the young people marching, some of them got some courage, you know, so we'll say some extra courage, because it took courage just to live, just to survive. But they got some extra courage and they came out and joined the march as well. And by the time they got back to the church and they filled up the church, she went on to the front of the church where she had been a song leader for a long time. She turned around and she saw that in the back of the church, the police were there. They had begun to follow that march. And, you know, there were people that were afraid at that point what was going to happen. Because as you know, there were times, you know, the sacredness of the sanctuary did not keep people from getting arrested and getting beat up. But she says, she stood in the front there, and in one of those rare times when we know when and how a freedom song moved from being a spiritual into a freedom song, she says she stood up and she started to sing. She started to sing that old version of the song, you know, over my head I see trouble in the air. But then she said to herself in a split second, she said, you know, I don't have to sing trouble. We know we got trouble. We have had trouble a long time. We've been waiting for the freedom rides. We know we've got trouble. So then she began to sing. And some of you have heard me say this before. She sang in a way that was more aspirational. And she says, in that split second, she thought, over my head, I see freedom in the air. It's really quite the story. And then when she was part of the SNCC Freedom Singers and the incredible musician, incredible singer Betty Mae Fikes was leading that song, she would lead that faster version of the song, you know, I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. So it's amazing to think about how songs progress, you know? And so my question for you all today, and you can just, you know, be thinking about this, what songs, what freedom songs express your aspirations? If you were standing in front of a group, let's say you wanted the freedom of being able to live and breathe air, the freedom to be able to live on a planet where we haven't destroyed it due to climate change. What song would you use? And would you use an old one? How would you change a little bit of it to make it into a freedom song? Now, I ask students this all the time. I have an assignment called Modern Day Spirituals. And I say, what are you hearing on the radio? Because they're much more radio or streaming. All right, they're much more likely to get a song that way than many getting a song in church. Or they might not hear the preaching about the kinds of things that we're thinking about. So I would say, what songs? And many times they'll say, well, Kendrick Lamar, Black Lives Matter movement, when they took just that snippet of the song saying, I'm going to be all right, yeah, I'm going to be all right. And they marched to that. And then some of them say Beyonce, because in her song called Freedom, she references one of my favorite songs, Wade in the Water, God's Gonna Trouble the Water. And she sings, I'm a wade in the water, till the tide don't move. Oh yeah. And she even has people dancing and splashing through the water as they're singing that freedom song. So there are still freedom songs out there. People are still moving songs around and changing songs around. And that's a good thing because we still need freedom. Absolutely. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. Oh, I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a God somewhere. So, yes.
Kim Harris, you know what? I totally love you so much because it's like Dr. Kim Harris comes into the University of Daily Antidote, and I don't even need to ask Kim Harris a question. She is an educator and a storyteller and a woman with so much unbelievable, extraordinary knowledge about freedom and freedom songs that it's right there for us, and it is such a gift to be able to listen to you. I feel like I'm literally in school and just wanted to keep going, which is actually oftentimes how I felt about school, which made me kind of an outlier. But this is so lucky that we get to sit here and hear the journey of the song and hear the journey of freedom and of words. And thank you so much for all of that. That's a big, can we please say thank you to Kim for that amazingness. Kim, do you have that songbook right there?
And I do, and some of you have seen this one before. It is called Sing for Freedom, the story of the civil rights movement through its songs. It was put together by Guy and Candy Carawan, those incredible song leaders. I was doing a webinar the other day and talking about them in terms of being song leaders in the labor movement, and then being going to Highlander Folk School and bringing these songs, including I'll Be All Right, We Shall Overcome. Okay, including bringing that into Highlander and encouraging people to sing that, and of course then eventually Pete Seeger and a few others they moved that song from I'll Be All Right to We Shall Overcome. That's an incredible story. I'll do that another time. But yes, Sing for Freedom, the story of the civil rights movement through its songs. It's been published by a few different publishers. This version that I have with a foreword by Julian Bond, it's New South Books. New South Books out of Montgomery, Alabama. And yes, that song I sang, Over My Head. People do sing that in their church settings. But even if you don't want to say, I believe there's a God somewhere, you can think of it as the forces of the universe, those moral forces are still there, and how important that is. Yes, indeed. So I love getting to sing those songs, and we keep thinking, where are people going to find the songs? Because we still need songs. Now, I got to sort of crack up because this week, of course, about Scotland, and the song I want to be singing is So power, inexpensive energy. Mm-hmm. So, and that one you can find in Rise Up Singing. Charlie King and the wonderful members of Bright Morning Star are the ones that change those words. So you can do all kinds of things with music, and I totally love that.
So, Kim Harris, you just got yourself an invitation to do a civil rights project or program here in the Daily Antidote at some point, and you just got yourself an invitation to join in our Climate Change Week with your great solar power song singing there. Who knows what else you've got up your sleeve? It's so amazing to have you in here.
I don't even have any sleeves on today. It's going to be 90 degrees out here,
Yeah, right. Well, so it's not exactly 90 degrees here, but lucky you. Phil, is it 90 degrees in Japan? Okay, I'm just kidding. All right, so I think maybe, Kim, we would love to sing with you again, and it's up to you what it is you want to sing us out with. The slow version, the fast version, some combo, whatever.
Well, let's see. You know what? I'm going to put something into the chat. Got a really good, an amazing event coming up this week here at Loyola Marymount University, and it is also live streamed because November is Black Catholic History Month. Us Black Catholics, we got our own month, Black Catholic History Month. And let's see if I can get this into the chat. Hold on. Okay. So there is a link there. And if for some reason a link doesn't work for you, you can just go to Loyola Marymount University, to the website. And it's an event this week. And our speaker is Dr. Diana Hayes. And she's going to be talking about womanist theology. So one of the amazing theologies of freedom. Dr. James Cone had Black liberation theology, and his students, his women students at Union Seminaries, as he says, pulled on his coattails and said, you know what, we're not hearing about our experience. And so then it was womanist theology. So please come and join us. And so Dr. Hayes is going to give us a lecture, and then I am going to be leading a Vespers service. So come on, join us virtually. That'd be fantastic to see you. So let's see. Now, can I sing us out with a whole other song? Is that okay? Is that allowed?
You sure can. You can, any old song.
I got to sing the solar power song. Every morning I wake up and I hear people thinking about how we're going to help this planet to come along. Now, I know some of you, somebody put in there a link where Reggie and I sing that song together. And like I said, you can find it in Rise Up Singing. But this song has been on my mind and in my heart. And as people are saying, climate change isn't just out there in the future. Climate change is with us now. It's not just in our backyards, it's in our front yards, and it's in our basement. Climate change is here. And we singers, we got to make sure we have those songs ready so when we get in the streets and in the faces of people whose faces we need to be in, we'll have our music ready. So here we go. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. See the sun, how bright it shines on the nations of the earth. All who share this thing called life celebrate each day's rebirth. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Brother wind we heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the windmills in reply echoing this glad refrain. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Sister River can hear how the valleys call you down. Bend your rushing waters near. Make the joyful hills resound. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Last verse says, how we love complexity when the answer's rather plain. Join the sun in jubilee. Sing with us this loud refrain. 1, 2, and here we go. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Thank
Woo!
you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim Harris. Let's give it up for Kim Harris. Kim, that was so much fun. Thank you so much for bringing us 2, 3, sort of, if you want to count the 2, the slow and the fast version as 2 separate songs. Amazing songs today. It was so much fun to sing with you. I want to shout out Amanda for putting in what page it was in the Rise Up Singing. I want to shout out Katie Abadou for being on the no matter what curveball we threw her today. She was popping extra lyrics and links in the chat. So about that songbook, there's something in the chat. 2 links for Kim's event that's coming up. And I also want to shout out Carol for putting in the number of days that we are today, which I promptly forgot. But if you're interested, you can find it in there. And I want to shout out Fred, who said that they sing this song in their December concert. And there's a link in there to that. Plus all of the other folks who contributed to the syllabus for today's Daily Antidote song. So thanks everybody so much for being here. Thank you again, Kim. It was amazing to sing with you, and we can't wait to have you back. Thank you to everybody on Facebook Live for being here. See you all tomorrow. And